Hello again, YouTube, and welcome back to the Scenes Memories of a Starry Sky. My name is MS1, and last video we finally managed to find what we've been looking for all this time in the old state, and that was after much searching and puzzling and everything you can think of. And so yeah, we found what we've been searching for all this time, and we also find something we don't really know how to deal with, but it's kind of a big thing. So let's see where we go from there, or here rather. A few days later, around midday. The last time I was here, was when I barged in without permission, all because I wanted to see Chihaya. So we are allowed back here again now, or are we just going in back in without permission? Hello, sir. That was also the last time I had seen her father, Hojo, at their residence. Thank you very much for making time for me today. Hojo held a hand up slightly to express that wouldn't be necessary.
娘を通じてあんなものを突きつけられては、たとえ公務があったとしても、こちらを先に処理するしかない。
That made sense. We had informed Hojo in advance that we had a recording of Kido spilling his guts to us, as well as a pile of grave evidence left behind by Chihaya's grandfather. But deal with? Was he going to treat this as a normal business meeting, even though he was at the center of this scandal? Or was he acting like this was no big deal in order to throw us all off and take advantage of the situation?
君がこんな形で我が家へ再び上がり込んでこようとはな。今日はお互いに腹を割って話せそうじゃないか。
Yes, we should. You seemed confident somehow. If I thought about it too hard, then this wasn't going to be much of a negotiation.
なんだ、何を遠慮している。この前の勢いはどうしたのかね。
I apologize for my behavior over the past few days. I assumed you wouldn't want to see me if I had approached you myself. You had banned me from stepping foot onto the property after all. Under ordinary circumstances, I would have had to take the time to approach a apologize repeatedly and keep getting turned away at the gate until he forgave me. Maybe that's what I should have done and follow my father's example. However, if I had done exactly that, Chihaya had gotten married, and I would have lost my sole reason for coming here. Which was why I had taken this message. Oh, you actually see Chihaya in different clothes now. You've always seen her in that other clothing or outfit. If Chihaya beside me right in this moment.
お父様も時間がないはずです。まずはご確認ください。
At her prompting, Hojo turned his attention to a stack of documents placed on the table in front of him.
これが木戸も当てにしていたお宝というわけかね。
That does seem to be the case. These were copies of a portion of evidence that illustrated Hojo's acts of improperty that Chihayas' grandfather had put together. One of the reasons there were just partial copies was because of the sheer volume of documents their grandfather had left behind. Would have been a hassle to carry all of them here too. More importantly though,
原本は信頼できる第三者に託してあり、何かあれば世間に即公開する。そんなところかね。
Roger looked up slightly and scowled up at me. You were to interpret it in that way? The truth of the matter was that the originals were still hidden at the old estate. They were safer there than anywhere else. Especially considering that the items needed to open up that room had been split between Chihaya and Azusa. I maintained my composure and then responded to Hojo. If only so that he wouldn't catch wind of that part. I had to encourage myself internally, or else his vigor and insight were liable to make me waver. Hojo promptly looked back at the stack of core copies, almost like this wasn't a big deal. Then grabbed a few sheets from the top and carefully scanned over the words and figures present.
なるほど。さすがは忠道さんだと認めるべきかな、これは。よく調べてある。
Without so much as witting, Hojo indifferently expressed his impressions, if a copy still in hand.
その上、地下室か。見つからないわけだ。
I had also informed Hojo of where and how we had found it, although we had few something I can't read, sorry. Some details. We did so to boost the evidence's authority, authenticity, something. Importance, I'm guessing, as well as to ensure how he wouldn't assume these documents weren't provided anonymously. Still though, does that mean you had an inkling it was there? It was great and all that he had acknowledged these were real after a curious glance. What was more surprising to me was that it wouldn't have been shocking if these documents hadn't made him lose his composure. Yet Hojo was exceedingly calm. Maybe he started to get panicked on the inside, but as a politician he has learned to have a poker face. Can't show any sort of weakness, even if you feel it. It wasn't like Kido, who had self-destructed after a few quick bluffs. I knew all too well how formidable of a negotiator he was.
疑ってはいたよ。
He returned the copies to the table and continued to speak, seemingly disinterested.
忠道さんがあの家でおとなしく孫と遊んでいるだけとは考えられなかった。あの人を追い落とした張本人だからね、私は。
Did that mean everything the grandfather had written in the letter was true? I suppose that also meant that Hojo, who had stolen his true power, had never let his guard down, since he had never known when he might take revenge. Did that mean he had anticipated this moment? Was he even remotely agitated by this?
君たちが旧宅の噂を持ち込んできたとき、図面を見せただろう。あれは私もあの建物を調べていたからこそ探させたものだ。
Ah, that was right. He had shown us these those back when Hinata spread the misinformation. Could that have been why someone like Hojo, who was normally so composed, became so obsessive and obstinate when the old state was involved?
お父様の手際がいいのはいつものことだと思っていました。
だが、これは見つけ出せなかった。
Hojo hit the top of the sack of documents with the back of his hand, and continued without so much as a glance in Chihayas' direction.
謎めいたパズルで私たちを煙に巻いて、肝心の物証は孫にしかわからない場所に残すか。まったく小細工の好きなあの人らしい。私とは最後までこうして暗闘を繰り返しておきながら、孫にはどこまでも甘い人だったわけだ、あの人は。
I hadn't expected Hojo to show us that self-deprecating smile. Deprecating. He was cool as a cucumber. Or so he had seemed. There were some small signs in his current behavior that also gave me a sloppy impression. If I had to guess where his true feelings laid, I was liable to be misled.
忠道さんはどうあっても孫に手柄をあげさせたかったと見える。
手柄ですか。
世間はそう見る。これらの原本をマスコミなり当局なりに持ち込めば、誰がどこでどうやって見つけたのか、その情報は意図的にリークされ、ニュースをより劇的に演出する小道具にされる。
それはそういうものなのでしょうけど、私一人で探し当てたわけではありませんよ。純也たちのおかげです。
言ったはずだ。世間はそう見ると。
That was when Hojo finally looked at Chihaya. Or would it be more accurate to say he merely scowled at her for a moment? Even when he responded to what she said, he had yet to look her in the eye. Hojo suddenly turned his attention to me.
水本君には悪いが、無名の青年よりも実の娘が父親を撃ったとした方がよりセンセーショナルなニュースだろう。
I would have to agree. This was no laughing matter. I didn't want to make Chihaya deal with the brunt of this.
そんな事態になれば、千早には同情が集まる。私に対しては罵詈雑言の嵐でもだ。結果、たとえ北条家が由来だとしても、追放されるのは私だけで、千早は周囲から守られる。忠道さんが望んだ展開はそんなところだろう。
If that was true, the way Hojo indifferently forced his own forecasted his own downfall went far beyond the level of what I would call calm or objective. I assume you want to say that isn't the path we should take. In reality, it was easy to imagine that sort of outcome, but it would only end up hurting Chihaya. That was all the more reason that we hadn't immediately been able to pin down what to do with this evidence.
私は別に構わないよ。どうなろうと対処できる。
In contrast with how conflicted we were, he gave that confident reply. There was no trace of arrogance or pride in his demeanor, but I could only assume that was due to the calm facade he was forced to wear.
しかし、君はそうしなかった。こうして私に見せたということはだ。
The look Hojo gave me almost seemed like he was sizing me up.
これを非公開にする代わりに相応の要求があるんだろう。
I appreciate that you're quick on the uptake. Yes, that was what we had ultimately decided. To jump on the corruption bandwagon and take part in the most despicable seeming deed, namely blackmail. At least that was what we would make it sound like.
これを機に悔い改めてほしいとお願いしても聞いてはくださいませんよね。
罪を認め、自ら職を辞せとでも言うのか。冗談はよせ。
Chihaya put her first request out there, which we assumed he wouldn't accept, and Hojo reacted exactly how we had expected. Perhaps this detail was exactly how Keido had described it during his rant about how Representative Hojo would never obediently retire.
北条家という家格を守るためにも金はいる。仕立てのいいスーツ、清潔感のある身だしなみ、健康な心身を維持する食事や医療、どれも金を食う。清廉な印象を与えるためにだ。
I wanted to say that he was putting the cart before the horse. Was he saying those were the reasons he'd participated in corruption for all of these long years? That he had no choice since he had been compelled by necessity.
家族を養う義務もある。見栄のため、世間体のためにな。家庭を大切にする男と思われた方が何かと有利に事が運べる。
Was that the reason why he came home on practically a daily basis to his own hometown? I'd heard before that most politicians only came back to their hometowns on weekends or during elections, no matter how much they valued their hometowns. It was an hectic occupation. I think I said it on some other time, but I'm guessing that Sumisword lies at least outside of Tokyo, since it sounds like a name. Now it sounds like he's actually working at the Diet building, but come home here and always every day. So I guess this is a little bit outside of Tokyo. Unless he actually is sitting at the local government building, which I thought at first. That should not have been any different for Hojo. However, he made a point of coming home on a near daily basis to have a breakfast here with Chihaya. Have that been purely tactical for the sake of his image?
その恩恵に預かって何不自由なく育てていただいた私にお父様を責める資格はないと。
忠道さんは違う考えを持っていたようだがな。
Roger turned his attention to the pile of documents on the table. At the blade pointed at himself entrusted to Chihaya and Azusa by the grandfather.
それで娘にはこれを用いることができない以上、君が代わりに私を脅すのかね、水本君。
Roger raised his head and glared at me again with a sharp glint in his eye. Maybe that meant he really did think he was purely negotiating with me. And now that we said that or thought that to ourselves, I think that we have a bigger plan here. Yeah, I'm making him think like this is normal negotiation, but we're actually doing something else. If so, then he was in for an even bigger surprise later. Yeah, that more or less confirms what I was thinking. I only helped your daughter. This evidence, which is effectively their inheritance, was left only to your daughters. It doesn't belong to me.
首相なことを言う。
I picked up on his nuisance that stopped just short of calling my answer boring. However, I could infer from his expression that he was also doubting my true intentions. Had he realized it when I alluded to not only Chihaya but to Azusa as well?
ならばなぜ君は今ここにいるのだね。あくまで我が家の問題だというのなら、君が同席する必要はない。
Yes, you may be right. I knew it was impolite, but I interrupted his train of thought before he could send me away. Even if it, for the sake of argument, my late brother had gotten tangled up in all of this, that is. I felt guilty for being the sort of little brother who borrowed his big brother's authority at every turn. The vet should have gotten what I was implying across to Hojo after what Kido had reported to him. I could very well blackmail you over that accident too, and just try to remember what your secretary did. Were two possible options. I'm also here today out of a duty to my bereaved family. Was another. I wanted to be here to see how all of this plays out, in part of my brother's sake. Chai and I weren't the only ones taking part in this discussion. Susan, my brother, Chihayas' grandfather, we were shouldering the hopes of everyone that wasn't here with us.
君のお兄さんについては心から同情する。
Lip service. Well, maybe not in this man's case. He had even gone to the effort of rushing over to attend my brother's wake in spite of his busy schedule. At the very least, wasn't the way he expressed compassion towards important family-related matters one of the reasons why Hojo had obtained so much support?
しかし君はお兄さんの仇討ちでもしたいのかね。
He wasn't the sort of brother who would have taken pleasure in that. I could say this with absolute certainty, that Takaya himself would definitely have been opposed to holding grudges or seeking revenge. That was the honest truth.
では義憤か。忠道さんの意志に感じ入り、娘の代わりに自分がとでも考えているのかね。
I wouldn't dream of it. Although that had been my plan at first. As unfortunate as it is, that isn't my role here today. He said earlier, my daughter isn't able to make use of this, but I was hesitant to elaborate, especially when it meant I would have to push this awful role onto Chihaya. Is he gonna say that, say you have two daughters, so which one of them are you actually saying can't use it? Maybe Chihaya can't, but Susa can. Or if Susa can't, then Chihaya can. Why do you think your daughter can't make use of it? Holder's eyebrows twitched. My childhood friend twitched beside me and started to fidget in her seat, likely due to the rising tension. If that being the case, the rest is in your hands, Chihaya. Chihaya's tone was rigged. Even so, she wanted to do this, and all I could do was watch over her.
お父様、この遺産の処置について交渉の相手は私です。すべて私とお話しください。
A roundabout portion of this conversation where both parties felt each other out was over. From this point forward, Chihaya would be in direct competition with her father. Back when we found what her grandfather had left behind in the basement of the old estate.
これを理由にお父様に取引を持ちかけるってこと？
Yeah, isn't that the only option if you're going to respect your grandfather's dying wishes? If she couldn't disregard what we had found, then her only other choice was to make use of it. The only catch was to do so in a way that left everyone involved satisfied. I made that selfish suggestion to Chihaya.
この証拠を公表されたくなければ、こちらの言うことを聞けと脅すわけですよね。
We use this as a bargaining chip, but we simply be making it look like we were going to use it. As long as this doesn't go public, we won't have any substantive effect on Hojo or the people who work for him, right?
理屈ではそうだけど、難しい交渉になりますよ。実は公表するつもりがないとバレたらそれまでです。相手はもうまともに話を聞いてくれません。こちらはあくまで本気だと見せかけつつ妥協点を探るなんて誰がやるんです？
Naturally, I will. I wasn't especially confident, but I ought to take responsibility for my own suggestion. As such, I asked Chihaya if she could get Hojo to somehow agree to meet with me. That had been my only request. Yet...
やっぱり私がお父様と話すべきことじゃない？
Chihaya herself had been reluctant.
純也が交渉すればどんな結果になってもお父様との関係が今よりもっと悪くなりそうだし、それに
It was just like when we had taken on Kido, or when we had decided to falsify where the key had come from. I could surmise that her reason was that she didn't want to burden me with a Hojo family problem. Junior was right there, and more importantly, so was Azusa. Since we were hiding what happened with Kido from the people present, neither Chihaya nor I could come right out and talk about it, but when we had reached the point when neither of us could explain further, Junior made an astute observation.
純也では北条さんに軽く見られる恐れがあります。これは千早や純也の能力の有無ではありません。相手が抱く意識の問題です。北条さんにとって純也は娘の友人ではありますけれど、政治に関しては素人としか見なされないでしょう。純也、あなたは自分の仕事に関して素人さんからいきなり意見されて、それを素直に受け入れられますか？うちなら困ります。その点、千早は身内です。政治家さんのお仕事を間近で見ている上、うちたちには言えないような話も見聞きしているでしょう。
I felt that on occasion, for Chihaya as well as Hinata, was probably a case of what they called learning by osmosis. No idea what that is. Learning by watching, I'm guessing. Since politics and matters related to its inner workings would naturally and routinely come up in their conversations with their families.
そうね。少なくとも純也よりは政治を、そのいいところも悪いところも知ってる。
ですよね。なら北条さんにとって千早は文字通り他人ではありませんから、その意見を無視できないはずです。何よりまさか実の娘が自分をという形で意表もつけるでしょう。交渉事でまず大切なのは相手の意表をついて突き続けること。これ基本ね。
お前が私を脅すのか。
He had put Shunya's, we had put Shunya's advice to good use for the time being, maybe. At first, Hojo had maintained his composure when he assumed that a layman like myself would be negotiating with him. Only for his daughter Chihaya, who rarely opposed him and constantly did as she was told, to come at him from the sidelines. It would be great if she had taken Hojo by surprise a little. What? It would be great if she had taken Hojo by surprise a little. Yeah. Had shaken his composure and could use that to her advantage in what would unfold next.
我が家の問題ですから、当然これは私自身が担うべき役目でしょう。お父様と私とお父様を支援してくださっている皆様のこれからに関わるのですから。
それはその通りだ。
Hojo agreed with her, but that didn't seem to mean he was raising the white flag by any means.
これらが公表され、私が引退を余儀なくされるところまで大きな問題になれば、北条家とそれに連なる者はことごとく路頭に迷うだろう。それでいいのかと、私としては逆に恫喝すらできるのだな。
I expected that sort of response. There was a brief crack in his facade, and I could see a brief glimpse of surprise etched across his face. However, he immediately recovered and tried to threaten her in return. But Chihaya wasn't going to be done in either.
その点でもこの証拠を見つけたのは私たちでよかったとなります。もしもこれが第三者、それもお父様のやり方に反対している人たちの手に渡っていたらと考えると、
たとえ娘でもご褒美ぐらいはもらってもいいはずだというのか。自分が私や支持者を守ってやったのだからと。
Reward, huh? We really were doing the same thing as when Kido used my brother's accident for his own benefit.
そのようにお考えいただければ幸いです。
There was an evident tension in Chihiya's voice, one she couldn't begin to hide. Even so, I could sense her resolve towards the duty she shouldered in the way she lifted her head, straightened her back and fixed her eyes on Hojo. I was sure that she hadn't actually wanted to negotiate by threatening her own father, which was why I offered to do things in her place. Although I was sure Hojo could see it from his perspective. In reality, Chihaya was fidgeting under the table and opening and closing her hands. She may even have been sweating and faintly trembling. I could just sit back and watch, and gently placed my hand on hers. Chihaya let out a quiet reaction, looked to me and gave me a slight bow of her hand. Of her head, to express her gratitude. I nodded back to her, careful that Hojo wouldn't notice me either. This was about all I could do for her right now, but if simply being beside her made it so Chihaya couldn't give it her best effort, then...
それで危ういところを助けてもらった私はどんなおねだりを感謝しながら飲まなければならないのだ。さっきも言ったが辞職や自首はさすがに受け入れられない。
The first thing he did was to protect his position, huh? Hojo really did prioritize himself, his family and these he trusted, which likely included the Ise family as well. Well, I think more that he actually is just protecting himself right now. If he had to, he would probably throw the Ise family under the bus as well. Even if he valued his hometown in a similar vein, Hojo had been built up a system to protect himself and those around him by dragging them onto the same boat, so to speak. Yeah, so if one falls, everyone does. Compared to Chihaya, who cared about the lives of the Sumisora citizens, they may have been fundamentally different.
まさかとは思うが、これだけの証拠と引き換えに自分たちの交際を認めろなどと言ってくれるなよ。
Was Hojo giving us such a hazardous look because he realized I had grabbed Chihaya's hand?
それより先にけじめをつけなさいと怒られてしまったことがあるんです。
Chihaya responded repositioned her hand over mine and squeezed. Yeah, that was right. She had told Hinata. Okay.
交渉って何を要求するんですか?
With the evidence we found in front of us, we had called Hinata down after Shunyu and I explained the situation to her. And that was the first question she asked.
それはこんなこと二度としないでくださいとか。
そんな話おとなしく聞いてくださると思いますか、あのおじさまが。
無理でしょうね。聞いてほしいけど。
I felt guilty for excluding Misora and the others, but Hinata was involved in this as well and could be directly affected by the outcome. With that in mind, I immediately filled her in on the situation. And, well, she wasn't holding back. The way that Chihaya, his daughter, immediately jumped to the resigned mindset seemed to mean that those two opinions of hers were in agreement.
はもう千早様とあずささん、お二人の要求をストレートに伝えた方がいいんじゃありませんか？
Not to mention the sisters by name as well. They were both designated rightful heirs to the inheritance. Sorry. Only for Azusa to say I don't really have any demands in a less than eager tone.
要求を通すにしても駆け引きはすべきです。最初からストレートに伝えたら通るものも通らなくなりますよ。
千早様にそんなテクニックが使えるのかという一抹の不安があるんですよ。それもあのおじさまを相手に。
頑張るよ。頑張ってみるよ。
まあじゃあ頑張っていただくとしてですね。この際ですからけじめをきちんとつけておくべきなんじゃないですか？例えばほら、木戸さんとの婚約とか。
重人さんとの婚約はなかったことにするつもりって本人に言ったよ。
成り行きの口頭だけじゃないですか。おじさまにもちゃんと話をしてください。あちこちにご報告だってしちゃってるんですから。
このまま自然消滅や事実上の破談ってことにしちゃダメ？
ダメです、人として。ものすごく千早様らしい逃げっぷりですけど。
私らしいってそれ褒め言葉よね。
I don't think it is.
褒めてませんから。
Yeah, the problem we needed to resolve first was the engagement between Chihaya and Kido. Chihaya could never be free and much less smile until it was properly called off. According to Hinata, I believe Chihaya can stretch herself to her breaking point if it's Furihoro or Susa's shake.
お父様はあくまで重人さんと結婚しろとおっしゃるのでしょうけれど、あのように私利私欲のためだけに動く方に北条家を委ねるわけにはいきません。ですから私とあの方の婚約を正式に破棄してください。
私利私欲は私も同じだ。
Roger said with a seemingly small degree of disappointment.
結局それか。ただわがままを押し通すのか。
以前なら確かに私のわがままです。重人さんを婿に迎えることが北条家のひいては地域の発展になるのでしたら我慢もできたでしょう。
She squeezed my hand even tighter as if to say she would never let go again.
ですが事情は変わりました。婚約を解消した方が北条家と地域のためになるとお父様にもご理解いただけたはずです。
あの録音でか。だが野心のない男など役に立たん。
Roger cut straight to that conclusion. As long as you didn't consider the implications behind it, his words had an almost comforting ring to them.
忘れているならそれはそれで構わないが、私だってもともと北条の人間ではないんだぞ。
That was right. He had married into the Hoge family and seemed to have gained his current position by ousting the previous head of the family.
だから重 あるとそうおっしゃるんですか。多少の裏切り行為には目をつむっても。
Chihaya she has back-to-back questions, put an odious look on her holder's face.
やつとの結婚など形だけでいいという意味だ。席だけ入れてお前はお前で好きにすればいい。やつも必要なのは北条家の婿養子という立場だけだろう。
Having you shoot me a momentary look while you say that really does give me the creeps, Hojo. He was indirectly saying that she could just take the person she really loved. In other words, me as her lover, wasn't he? Yeah, so he's saying that she can marry Kido just so they can have him on the paper, so to speak, but she can be with me, Sarah, and do what she wants, so because the Kido thing is only on paper. The faint hope I had that this man may have been pushing for this engagement because he wished for her happiness in his own way had completely faded away.
私そんな器用じゃありませんから。
I could almost hear the heavy the heavy sighs in Chihiya's voice now.
まさかと思いますけれど、お父様、お母様ともそんなつもりで結婚されたのではないですよね。
Seemed like they actually got him there. Even Hojo got a sour look on his face from that remark. I'm sure Chihiya had genuinely been interested in his relationship with her mother, but Azusa was the best testament possible to the reality of that situation.
かといって今さら婚約を破棄してみろ。もろもろの準備や挨拶回りが無駄になるだけではない。お前は周囲から傷者とみなされる。腫れ物に触れるような扱いを受けるぞ。
別に構いません。純也はそんなこと絶対にしませんから。
Damn right. Although she did this all the time, couldn't you at least check for my opinion first, Chihiya?
大した信頼関係だな。
For a second there, he kind of glared over at me.
水本君に政治的な野心があれば、娘をそそのかして自分が木戸の後釜に座ろうとしているのではないかと疑うところだ。
純也はそんなことしません。
What Chihiya shouted without a moment's delay was exactly right.
木戸はそうは考えていなかったようだぞ。何かといえば私に彼のイメージを悪くするような話を吹き込もうとしてきた。
Eh?
やれ財産目当てではないか、やれ千早が惜しくなったのではないかなどとな。
ひどい。純也のことそんな風に言っていたんですか。あの人ただの陰口じゃないですか。
I managed to avoid any outbursts since Chihaya got angry on my behalf. What had that man been trying to accomplish by provoking me and getting in my way? Hojo-san's conjecture promptly made the answer to my question apparent.
やつなりに場をかき回して自分に有利な方向へ誘導しようという目論みだな。
Seriously though, I go to such a length to lie, only to be immediately found out when both parties met face to face. It was no surprise that Hojo continued to push his insights onto Chihaya, even though he refused to meet her halfway.
やつにしてみれば水本君は目障りな存在だったんだろう。何しろお前のお気に入りだ。婚約の障害になりかねず今現になっている。
そうですね。私重人さんとはますます結婚なんてしたくなくなりました。
Chihaya proceeded to pout and appeared visibly displeased by her father's comment. She wasn't acting this way on purpose to shift the negotiation in her favor, was she? Well, I was happy about it, and it made for an exceptional way for Chihaya to show her intentions to Hojo in the end.
お仕事柄詭弁を弄するのも時には必要でしょうけれど、あまりに姑息ではありませんか。それでもまだお父様は重人さんが後継者としてふさわしいとお考えなんですか。
いや。
Yeah, he was actually smart there. But I think I actually have to end this video here as well because it's time. So hope you liked it, and we will see what happens with this negotiation in the next video. So until then, hope you liked this one, and if you did, so leave a like to it if you did. So I will see you all in the next one. Bye.